Last week, Jesus was quite clear about how important forgiveness is in our lives. If we're going to move forward in a relationship with God, we need to be forgiving of those slights that we experience, or say atrocities like 9/11. We have to at least be willing to forgive, or at least be willing to forgive. Now this week is another challenge, but it's a little bit more subtle, I think. Most of us are a little bit uneasy with this gospel. We always are, because it just doesn't seem fair. You know, I've got 9 brothers and sisters. I taught high school for many years, dean of students. I've worked here for 15, 16. I've heard that a lot. That's just not fair. And maybe it's in our DNA. Stuff has to be fair. But you know what? It doesn't, and you all know that. But we have some things, subconsciously at least, if not consciously, in our minds. We believe that everybody should be treated equally. We believe that work should be rewarded. We believe that people should be responsible. I should be responsible, and you should be responsible. People should take care of themselves. Now, as you grow older and you move into the community and make money, you'll probably get caught up in the sea of capitalism out there that sometimes says that people are not as important as success. And success is more important than compassion. And if these things are boiling in you, you're going to have trouble with this gospel, because it just doesn't make sense. Then, if you add this to the mix, some of us, in listening to the scriptures, especially the Old Testament, we can get the idea that God is a lawgiver and not a lover, okay? And that he is more interested in justice than mercy, and that we must be contrite before we are forgiven. If these are the things that we hold in our minds about who God is and how we relate to God, then again, this gospel is not going to be easy for you to hear. It challenges us on a very basic level. I began the Mass by saying that everything we have is gift. I want to chase that just a little further. Your being here at this university, you're being born at this time, at this time in history, in this place, in this country, born in the family in which you were born, with the gifts that you were born with the talents that you have. All of those are gift, and you didn't earn any of it. I'm sorry. They are not earned, they are gift. And we need to know that, because we compare ourselves so often with other people. And we say, I worked hard for this. You know what? God doesn't care. God doesn't care how hard you worked. It's not about how hard you worked. It's really not about getting it right. See, that's the other thing that I think we all have in our minds, that to be a good Catholic Christian, we have to get it right. Well, if you read Scripture a little bit, you'll come to believe, as I do, before you get it right, you have to get it wrong. Abraham was a coward. Abraham was afraid to tell the Pharaoh that Sarah was his wife. Jacob was a liar, a chief, and a thief, and a coward. But God renamed him Israel, the father of the 12 tribes of Israel. And 10 of those children tried to kill the 11th, but then ended up selling him to slavery. Moses, murderer. David, murderer. Paul, murderer. Peter, coward. The disciples, cowards. The only one who plays a significant role in our history of a religion is Mary, who didn't first get it wrong. You're going to get it wrong. I'm sorry. You may not think you will, but you will get it wrong. And then I hope that you can fall back into the loving arms of God and experience his forgiveness and his mercy, and not his justice. We don't want to pray for justice when it comes with God, we want to pray for mercy. When we read our scriptures, we need to look at them as a love story. It begins with God creating us out of love so that he will have images of himself to love. And when these images turn away from him, out of love, he sends his Son to turn us back. And the Son, out of love for us, realizes that probably the only way he can do that is to prove his love himself by dying on a cross. Our scriptures are a love story. And when we surrender to that, and we surrender to the fact that everything is gift, then this story we read today will make great sense. We will finally come to realize how wonderfully blessed we all are.